Emostel.
Hello, you're welcome to this video. We still continue our journey on vectors, but this time around, we just want to talk about direction cosines. All right, this vector journey is about to end. In like one more video now, we are done. Okay, so but then direction cosines. What are direction cosines? It's just a function of the cosine of the angle made between the vector formed and each of the axes. Don't worry, I will explain that. This diagram is not gibberish. It's not something that it's not difficult, but let me just quickly break it down. You see, we have a normal three-dimensional graph, okay? Z-axis, Y-axis, and X-axis, right? Now, the three of them produce a vector, a resultant vector. Let's call it vector P. So this is vector origin O. So they produce a resultant vector, right? So this angle, the angle between the vector that they formed, the angle between that vector and x-axis, okay, is represented as alpha. This. Now that vector that is formed, that same vector, the angle between the vector and the y-axis is represented as beta. All right. And then that same vector that is formed, the angle between the vector and the z-axis is represented as gamma. Each of these angles, okay, the cosine of each of these angles is what we call direction cosine. Now, the question is that why do we choose cosine? It is very simple. If you pick, let's pick the most obvious triangle, the clearest one out. If you pick the one of y out, okay, and then you have this, okay, as your angle beta, and then you have this. Let's say the vector has a magnitude r. Okay, the vector has a magnitude r, and then let's say here and here has a magnitude y naught. That is the value of y covered across the y-axis. Let's call it y naught. All right. Through trigonometry, we know that what cos of any angle is equal to the adjacent, okay, over hypotenuse. All right. You know that the cosine of any angle is equal to the adjacent over hypotenuse. And remember, we are talking about the length of this place to this place, so it's going to be in magnitude and not the vector. All right. So the value of whatever is it here, with the size of the vector that this line represents, is what we are going to put here, which is the magnitude. You know, magnitude is the size of a vector. All right. So that is how this one was formed. This is the first direction cosine. This is the direction cosine formed with respect to y. The direction, so in a similar manner, in a very similar manner, okay, is what happened in the other one. If you look at this one, you see that there is an adjacent, this is an angle, okay, and then this is the right angle, and then this r still remains the hypotenuse, okay. So then this place carrying the two angles is the adjacent, and then you see that if you do this cos gamma 2, all right, that's cos gamma 2 will be equal to the adjacent, which is the area that z covered, z naught, over the hypotenuse, which is still the same r, but we are talking about magnitude of r, that is the magnitude of the vector that is formed. Do you understand? And then we also have it now that what cos alpha is going to be equal to what x naught over the magnitude of r. So on that similar note, so each of this is what we call the direction cosine. All right. So just say that cos alpha, all right, cos beta, and cos gamma are called direction cosines. You get that? So that is what we mean by direction cosine. And then putting all of these things, you can say, okay, we can decide to say to make this one to be, like, let this one to be L, let this one to be M. Sorry, let the one for X be L, the one for Y, which is beta, be M, and the one for Z, let us call it N. All right. So therefore, L, M, N in brackets, like in that pair, in that it's not pair now, it's because there are three. Okay. So this triple union, let me put it that way, okay, is called the ordered pair. The ordered pairs. Oh shit! Sorry, shirt and trouser. All right, sorry for that. Okay, L, M, and N are the direction cosines. Direction cosines with respect to x, y, and the z-axis, respectively. So that's that as per that. Now the next thing is, let us solve a question. Now, let's take for example, maybe you have a vector that says you have a vector A is equal to 2i minus 3j minus k. Let's put it that way. All right. So if vector A is equal to 2i minus 3j, then and minus k, and the question says find the direction cosines. All right. So it's quite simple. Okay. The direction cosine with respect to the x-axis, which is represented by L, is going to be equal to the just as this formula implies, it's going to be the magnitude of z. Okay, that distance, that's value of the unit vector z, then over r. Just as simple as that. We have this z over r. Then so which means the very first thing that you do here to solve this question, okay, since you have all of these things in common, you remember that the value that we have here is the magnitude of the unit vectors. Okay, like I have explained all these things in some previous video. Okay, like 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 unit, 4 unit, 5 units, 6 units across the y-axis and all that. So that is how we got all that too. So the same thing implies in this case. So the very first assignment you have is to find the magnitude of A, because we are going to need it all through. This r that you have here represents the vector that is formed. So the magnitude of that vector is what we will put here as r. So the next thing you do is to find the magnitude of vector A. So when you find the magnitude of vector A, which is the square root of 2 squared plus 3 squared plus 1 squared, and that's what? The square root of 4 plus 9 plus 1. I don't know, I'm fond of this. All right, so at the end of the day, we have the square root of 14. Fond of these three values, 2, 3, and 1. All right, so then we have this as root 14, right? So to find the direction cosine now, so you just say, so therefore, therefore L is going to be these 2 that you have here, divided by this magnitude you just got. Okay, and then M is going to be this minus 3 that you have here, divided by the magnitude you just got. And then N is going to be minus 1 divided by what? The magnitude you just got. That's all. So if you have your calculator, you can decide to solve it and get the decimal answer, the decimal result, and then that's all. So anytime you're asked to look for direction cosines, this is just a simple thing to do. The very first thing you do is to find the magnitude of the vector itself. Then the next thing is that you put, you use the unit vector, the components, the value of those vectors across the x and the y axis and the z axis, you put it there, and then divided by the result you got for the magnitude, and that's all. So you do that in each case, and you get the answer for L, M, and N. Sometimes, the options will just be 3, 4, 5. Any answer you get, just look for the option that goes with this result that you got, and then that is all. Period. Direction cosine settled. And that brings us to the end of this video. The next time we meet, we'll be talking about the scalar triple product and the vector triple product. See you then. Bye.